All right, so welcome to FarmAnywhere's R&D farm. Today we are looking at the process of growing lettuce inside of a container farm. So in the first episode, we looked at the seeding part, bringing it to the seedling, into the nursery. And now today we're gonna take it from the nursery and bring it into the main grow room. First things first, before we get going, we're just gonna have a look at our environment and make sure that it has everything that we need. And so I'm just gonna bring it closer here. So we're at 26.4 temp, 58 humidity, CO2 is at 1000 ppm, VPD is 145. VPD is a little high, but here's the thing with this container especially, and a lot of the container farms, that we're not growing only one variety. We're growing multiple varieties. There's basil in there, there's another kind of lettuce, there's coriander. So it allows the farmer to be able to grow multiple crops for the community in the same environment. So there is some kind of compromise that we need to do on the environmental side. So what I do when I'm planning to grow is that I'll take all my measurements that I need for temperature, humidity, CO2. Well, CO2 is always 1000 ppm, but temperature, humidity, and also what I need for irrigation, which we'll go over another day. And basically find an average that will make sense for all of the crops that I'm growing. The amount of downside versus upside is very, very little. So it's really good to just have multiple crops and just find a proper medium between the temperatures, because everything can be reached pretty much. So all this is very, very good. That's what I want to see. So next we're going to move into the grow room, have some eye protection because we're going to be really close to the lights and they're quite strong. So I'll have eye protection that I'm going to be wearing, and then we're going to take the seedling from the 10 by 20 tray, rock wool that you've seen in the previous video, transplant them into a basket, and then send them straight inside. And then we also have help today to kind of accelerate the process. So let's go do it. Okay, so we're inside the R&D farm in the main room this time. So already taking the trays back from the nursery and brought it in front right here. And then what we'll do is just take one of these baskets that we have, and then we will take one cube just like that, put it inside the basket, and just drop it in like this. So you don't necessarily have to use the basket. It's just nice to have as well too, just to block the light and to give a good structure to the rock wool plant. But alternatively, you could also just drop it in like so inside the actual tray, and this will save you also a lot of time and all that. So for plant spacing on the lettuce, I like to space out the plants. You don't necessarily have to. If you want, you could have them side by side like so. And we can have it side by side like this and make the best use of the space, which is good practice because we want to make optimal use of our light. And therefore, by having the lights, having the plants close together like that, then we make better use of it. But then they kind of tend to compete with each other, especially this variety that grows a little bit wider. But they will definitely grow like this. But for purpose of us making the video and you seeing properly, we're just going to be skipping one side and then just using a basket that's empty with a collar just to block the light from growing algae inside the tray. So we're going to do this across the board for the entire container. It will take about 10 minutes, being 2 or 3. So it'll be fairly quick. And then once that's done, we will turn on the water in the system, which just helps as well. If there's no water in the system, then when we move the trays or the baskets around for errors or mistakes, things like that, we don't have some of the irrigation water coming out of the tray. Just keep the surface nice and clean. So we're gonna do that immediately. So watch the time lapse. there you go. We finished the job of transplanting them into the main grow room. So one thing to mention is that these are 3 different varieties in rows. So we got Chuka, Dragon, and Green all rowed up independently from each other. We did that for 2 reasons, R&D and also for video purposes. But what's really cool is that these 3 different varieties, they go well together to be sold in a pack at the farmer's market or CA. They're like 3 different colors, they look different. So it looks really nice as a presentation purpose as well too. So that's why we've planted them another thing too to mention is that it took us about 20 minutes with 2 people to transplant the entire thing. We weren't the most organized for sure in that process because we were filming at the same time. If we were organized more, I think we could do it a little bit shorter. Not I think, I know we can do it shorter. But you know, that's good for you to plan on how long it takes to do certain tasks for an entire row of 26 feet of seedlings. So next thing I'm going to do is also dim the lights a little bit just to kind of help them get accustomed to the new environment, to the new irrigation water as well too. So follow on the next video where we're going to be harvesting, tagging, and being able to like put it into a nice package, show you guys how we put it into a nice package to be able to sell it. So we're going to do it in 2 different ways, loose leaf and also the entire head of lettuce on its own as well too. So stay tuned for that, like, subscribe, comment below if you got any questions on the processes. There's not one size fits all when it comes to this. There's multiple ways of doing the exact same thing, and therefore we may do some other videos later on too on alternative ways of transplanting that. Thanks for watching.